Yaoguang, Sparkle, and Black Swan. These three characters are the centerpieces of attention for version 4.0 of Star Rail, with Yaoguang representing the new Elation path and Sparkle and Black Swan getting buffed all the way back to the top of the meta. These three characters are really defining the game right now, and as such, I want to talk about who are the winners of version 4.0. Hello everybody, my name is Christian, and today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. I recently did this video with Cyrene, like in 3.7 when she came out, and it was a lot of fun, and I thought it was a pretty entertaining video. So I'm deciding to do it again for, instead of just Cyrene, the entirety of version 4.0 because of these characters being changed or added in. With that in mind, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, become a YouTube member down below, and with that said, let's get into it. Let's pause real quick and take a brief word from our sponsor, LD Shop. With so many good characters coming out soon, many players simply don't have the jades they need to get them all. Now, if only there was a cheaper way to get top-ups for games like Star Rail and ZZZ. Well, that's where the sponsor of the video comes in, LD Shop. LD Shop is a safe and reliable top-up site for all your favorite games. They offer top-ups at a more affordable price than in-game, and can even activate your first top-up bonus if you haven't used it already. All you have to do is click the bundle you want, put in your server and UID, and your top-up will appear in-game shortly after. If you buy using my link as well, you can get a 5% and 15% coupon good for $50. Last but not least, if you consistently use LD Shop and spend over $80 for the month, you can get an Express Supply Pass completely free on your homepage. Use the link in the description or the pinned comment. Thank you so much to LD Shop for sponsoring. Let's get back to the video. We have quite a few big winners here, but let's start with what I think is probably the two most obvious ones, Archer and DOT. Let's start with Archer. Archer was already a little bit down. He wasn't quite performing at the same level that he was formerly. You know, Predwin moved him down to T0.5, and while I do think they moved him prematurely, they did end up having to move him at a certain point because the content really was not benefiting him at all for a little bit. But man, Sparkle being this much stronger is such a massive benefit for him, it's not even funny. He is in such a better spot as a result of those buffs, and really, that's just keeping in mind E0 Sparkle. E1 and E2 are such massive boosts for that team, oh my god. E1 means you can build her even better because you get a free 15% speed bonus whenever you skill. You're going to be skilling a lot, you'll always have a 15% speed bonus. And E2 shreds defense by 30% for your advanced target. That's incredible, especially with a character like Archer, who does a lot of damage in big bursts, and a lot of his other good teammates also shred defense. Silverwolf, Cypher, those are big ones for him. Getting to combine that Eidolon with those characters, absolutely incredible. Just at E0 though, this is a massive, massive boost for Archer and makes him a lot stronger as of right now. We can also talk about the fact that right now, in terms of characters who will benefit the most from Elation, Archer's actually at the top of the list because his third slot usually is most of the time kind of unfilled, or it's very open to interpretation. So there's nothing stopping you from throwing Sparkle in and then putting Yaoguang in. There's absolutely nothing stopping you from doing that. And it works. Oh my god, it works. Yaoguang has this interesting synergy with kind of Sparkle as a whole. You know, Elation buddies, all that. With the huge emphasis that Sparkle has on skill points and her ability to regenerate even more of them now, that's already amazing. But then, every time Yaoguang uses her Elation skill, guess what? She also regenerates a skill point. That's ridiculous. She's already not super SP negative, like she should be SP friendly. So now you're just getting another skill point on top of all the ones you're already getting for Archer. Plus, Sparkle now uses less skill points on advancing her target because one of her abilities has been switched so that if her advanced target uses 3 skill points, the next action advance is free. Literally perfect for Archer. Your SP generation has risen up dramatically with this team. So adding Yao Guang in to just supercharge it even more, while also giving you access to Res Pen, vulnerability, an additional source of damage from elation skills, and just like everything that she has to offer in her kit, it is a huge day, let me tell you. If you already had Sparkle and Archer as your combo, getting E1 Sparkle and then getting to pull Yao Guang, putting them all together and using your free Dan Heng PT. Most of your team is free, and it's a really good team. It is absolutely incredible what Star Rail has offered players if you were playing throughout 3.x. You have a completely free team if you just slot in RMC, or you can go get Yao Guang right now and make a phenomenal team. Absolutely insane. Archer, by far, one of the biggest winners. Probably the biggest, since he benefits from Sparkle buffs and Yao Guang. Absolutely phenomenal day for Archer. Now, let's move on to who I think are the next biggest winners, which is pretty clearly DOT in my opinion. So, with Black Swan being buffed, Black Swan received pretty important buffs. She can now stack more Arcana, and the stacks won't always dissipate immediately, meaning you get more increased damage, which is absolutely amazing. On top of that, she also increases the damage of your team by 72% from her major trace. She's giving Hysilen's 72% more damage. That is horrifying. Overall, this team is in a phenomenal spot. If you already have Kafka, Hysilen's Black Swan, this team is already going up considerably. And if you didn't have Black Swan, you only had Kafka and Hysilen's, you can get Black Swan, and she will be the best option for this team going forward, more than likely. Again, haven't done the exact numbers, but it is very likely that she exceeds every other option that I can think of. There's more to her kit that I'm not even talking about. She got a lot of great upgrades, including the ability to always apply her defense reduction beyond just her skill. And the defense reduction, I'm pretty sure, comes in when enemies just appear in a wave. That is super good, because now you can make her a lot more SP neutral or SP positive, which is super important because you always want to be skilling on Kafka, and having the skill on Hysilen's is usually a lot better than having the skill on Black Swan. All of these things combined just boost the team up enough that it can still be considered a very elite team, when realistically, they were probably going to start dropping off a little bit because of just how strong enemies are getting, HP inflation, and we still don't really have a dedicated sustain for DOT specifically. Dan Heng PT is great for them because he's super SP friendly, but overall, I think we could still do with somebody who maybe they advance enemy actions or they just straight up boost DOT damage. That'd be great. Overall, they are still missing a little bit that could make the team even better, but this is just a great boost for them that really enhances their capabilities. And Black Swan getting these buffs is one of the best things that could happen as a DOT player, because oh my god, I am praising Lord Jesus right now. These buffs are fantastic. They feel great. I'm absolutely loving it. Call me Ronald McDonald now. Oh, what am I doing with my life? Anyway, big fan of the DOT buffs. They are absolutely huge winners for this version. Let's move on to who I think is kind of a more secret winner, which is, once again, Acheron. Anytime Nihility pops up, she's always a winner, and it's insane. So, Acheron is a character who has been probably starting to underperform a little bit, which is unfortunate to say the least. I really like Acheron, but man, she is just really lagging behind all these other powerful characters finally, and she can technically still do some things, but a lot of the newer bosses and enemies have just become a bit too out of her wheelhouse, in my opinion. The thing is, though, is that she benefits a lot from the changes that have popped up with these 2 buff characters. Sparkle, absolutely incredible action advancer, and she works really, really well with Acheron. That was the combo that many E2 Acheron players were using for the longest time. So now, you slot that in, again, you're going to be completely good on skill points, which means more Acheron skills and more skills from your third ally, your sustain, all that, and even more damage, which Acheron needs nowadays. So that's already great. But also, Black Swan. Black Swan gives constant defense reduction, can do decent damage on her own because of her DOT, and she also contributes to being SP neutral. She is a very, very solid option to slot in for Acheron now. While I do think Silverwolf and Cypher are still going to be your best options for sure, the point is that Black Swan can slot in now. She can actually fulfill that role how you want her to, if you need her to. And that's great. That is another option that players can use to mix up their teams if they need, like, a different character elsewhere. If you want to use Cypher with Archer, or I've seen Cypher with Break and it works pretty well. Like, if you want to do that instead, there you go. You now have that option, and that is amazing. I personally really like the fact that we've kind of buffed Black Swan into being a bit more generalist, since now it means other characters can use her if they so choose. And it's not going to be the most ridiculous loss for most of them. That's honestly really, really nice. And again, Sparkle also being incredible just overall now. Man, Acheron, while definitely on a bit of a downswing, she is benefiting a lot from these 2 buffs, let me tell you. I think this is a great, like, you know, inadvertent buff for Acheron. Now, when is that actual Nova Flare coming? Okay, the next character I got on my list, and I know there's gonna be some wild question marks about this one. So, Qingque. Because Sparkle is so much stronger now, and Sparkle now increases the amount of skill points recovered even more. She has gone from regenerating 4 skill points per ult to 6 skill points per ult. That is crazy. And now the other ones that if you overcap, they just get stored and you can grab them later at the end of the turn. That's amazing. Like, this is really not gonna buff Qingque much, I'm gonna be honest. But Sparkle improving, getting more damage, and again, more skill points without using as many skill points. For a character like Qingque who relies on spamming skill points to actually do any form of meaningful damage, that's incredible. That is really, really good. And you know what? It might just be enough to pull her out of the trenches. I'm not saying, like, T0. I'm saying going from T5 to T4. That's all I'm implying. I think this is enough of an advantage for Qingque so that she can actually get out of the bottom feeders tier for a little bit. Because all of those new buffs are so impactful and fit perfectly with what Qingque does. And it's all designed for Archer naturally, or like Sparksy, but it works really well for Qingque, which isn't what I expected. But hey, that's the fun of these videos. I learned this and I think it is amazing. Petition Preedwin to move up Qingque to T4, guys. We can do it. Somebody start clearing. I would, but I don't have a built Qingque. Also, at the time of this recording, I don't even have Sparkle. I've yet to get her from the selector because I know she's the best option, but I just really hate her. And now I know there's going to be comments saying, you hate Sparkle? What's wrong? But I do not care. Like, if Kevin and Nim have not been able to change me, nothing's going to be able to change me. I'm considering it. Anyway, yeah, we love Qingque, chat. Alright, and the last character we are going to be talking about for today is probably the other most obvious one, which is Sparksy. Wow, shocker. Yeah. Oh, man. What am I doing? So Sparksy, she's not even out yet, but we have actually seen her gameplay now, and it is incredibly obvious that she is going to benefit such an immense amount from the Sparkle buffs and from Yao Guang specifically. With Sparkle's ability to regenerate even more skill points and Sparksy's ability to constantly keep enhancing her abilities past any normal, reasonable measure, she can just keep going and going and going. It's crazy. So with those two abilities in mind, Sparksy is going to be outputting absolutely insane damage numbers thanks to Sparkle constantly keeping the skill point upkeep. And then Yao Guang being the generator, the driver of Elation, which, again, she is going to be an extra aha instant. With Sparksy, will do like 300,000 damage or more. You get 2 of those, plus Sparksy's personal damage and Yao Guang's personal damage. Like, then you're going to get to Action Advance with a bunch of skill points for Sparkle. This is a team that is going to work incredibly well and be super, super powerful. So to say that Sparksy is going to be like a big, big winner of this version, it almost feels like an understatement. She is going to be like almost a center of attention here. She is going to get so much benefit out of everything that's coming out. And she's probably going to be the shill target for a little bit because the next character coming up is Ashvale, and they hate Hunt. So, really, Sparksy is just an absolutely massive winner with everything going on. She doesn't really benefit from Black Swan buffs, but when you benefit from 2 of the other characters and you are built to really excel with one of the other characters because, you know, it's Elation and they really like working together in Elation, that's absolutely massive. I think Sparksy is going to be an absolute demon when she comes out, and Predwin has her listed at like T0.5 tentatively. I think she's going to be T0 pretty easily after arrival. They're always pretty safe whenever new characters come out. They don't want to like jump the gun, put them too high, all that good stuff. I think it is very safe to say that this character is going to excel. She's going to do really well in all the content that'll come out, and even if she's not super, super amazing overall, just because of how strong her teammates are as well, within that optimal team, she is going to excel without a single shadow of a doubt. That's great for all you Sparkle fans out there. I am still curious of what other Elation characters are going to look like, because obviously we're going to get more. But it's also funny that we're taking a quick deviation to get Ashvale first. It just feels a bit funny that he's coming out before any other Elation, and he's the only character coming out because it's a shortened patch. It's interesting how this works. I don't know. Either way, really interesting to see what's going to happen with Elation, and Sparkle and Black Swan being buffed is just so absolutely massive. I do wish that they buffed characters who needed it more, but buffing these good characters into great characters so that they can stay relevant for even longer, honestly, not really a bad thing. Especially since a lot of players do have these characters. So, not really much to complain about. And with that, that is everything I needed to say. That was a lot of yapping. I feel like I talked really, really fast. I don't know. I got a busy day today. I got a lot of videos to make, you know what I'm saying, chat? Start of a version, haha. Shoot me. Alright, well, hope you all enjoyed the winners video. I have got plenty more good videos coming out soon. Lots of more stuff for the start of 4.0. So, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy. And I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.